sometimes you have to ask yourself, are there enough fuses?
Are there?
Well, it's quite a lot.
You want some more?
It's complicated enough.
Offer it up.
Yeah.
And see if there's there's no way. Stick it in the hole.
Okay.
So the spike bit there goes in that hole in the middle.
Tight fit. Is it worth me having a look? To do anything.
Hello! Well, today I want to move this truck. Now I haven't done any work on this truck for a long time. It's currently the middle of June and we haven't touched this thing since the very beginning of February. Back then I was doing the radiator, so fixing the hole in the radiator, and I was fixing the dodgy air tank. I think those jobs are done. Mark was working on the electrics, which was basically a case of taking a 24 volt engine and all its components and mating it to the existing 12 volt system. Now I think he finished that work. There was something about variables and testing.
We've got an awful lot of variables in there and it's something we never tested. You'll have to flip the cistern switch.
And I think we may have actually turned it over on the key, not started it but just turned it over.
Correct. Yeah, basically that does the starter motor. So, you know, you can start it and drive it. In theory. Isn't that amazing?
I think it's ready to go, although to be honest it's a bit hard to know Mark what he's on about sometimes.
Curious mincer.
So today I want to fire this up if possible and then move it because it's in the way where it is. It's right next to the workshop and I need to put it in its designated parking space. Now I know there's no water in there. I think I've hooked up all the plumbing system, but I'm going to chuck a load of water in and, well, we'll find out pretty quick. I've charged up the batteries. I'm going to put those on and then we'll see what happens. Okay, water first. It looks like I've refitted the pipes. I might have even tightened them up. It's all very wibbly because the front grille, which is also the support for the radiator, is obviously missing. But it'll do for now. The grille's got some holes in it, so I'm going to fix that up before I replace it back on it. Right, let's chuck some water in. Now, as ever, I'm just using water, no antifreeze. It's all going to come out again, I'm sure. So, that's it, full. That's nearly 3 of those it took. I'm going to leave that for a bit, see what happens. But it's looking okay at the minute. In the meantime, I'm going to get the batteries. Right, I've completely forgotten how these go. So obviously it's two 12-volt batteries, and I have to hook them up with this to make, join them together in series to make 24 volts. I think that's the negative. Way negative, that's definitely a positive. Let's throw on the other two. God. Okay, actually I'd put it in the vise to free that up. Just seems absurd, but didn't think that'd be the sticking point. Anyway, they should go on now. Yeah, I'm bored now. Crikey. It's going to take more effort than it should have done. Surprisingly hard work putting those on. Yeah, the nuts and bolts that tighten up the terminals are just, I just didn't want to turn. It's also, you've got to be really careful doing up batteries in an enclosed area like that. The worst case scenario would be bridging the terminals with a spanner, and then you'll discharge the quite considerable amount of energy that's in the battery through that spanner in the showers for fireworks, and then you'd have to get a new battery and a new spanner. But also here, if I just touch the bodywork, then it's going to make sparks as well, which isn't great. Anyway, Rollin. Yeah, I think that's all done. Now let's check the water then, see if that's gone down. It's gone down a bit. I can't see any water other than what I spilt when I hooked it up. But yeah, I think that's okay. I'm going to take this out of the way before I run it over. I suspect we're good to go. I'm just going to check the oil. Now I'm 100% confident there's plenty of it. nice to have it all pressurised. Okay, let's see what happens. We're in neutral, which is important. Right, well, here goes nothing. Well, it turned over very happily. It didn't fire. So I wonder if the fuel solenoid is disconnected. I've got a feeling that's supposed to be there. Yeah. Right, when I poked that in there I could hear it clicking, which means the fuel solenoid was off when I just tried starting it then. What I'll do is go and get a little connector for that. Right, just put a little speed connector on there. Yeah, so that clicking noise, I think, pretty sure, is the fuel solenoid. So that's now on. Let's try again. Red light's on. Neutral. That fired straight up. Brilliant. Well, that's an excellent start. Really pleased with that. Now there's a few things that are unknown at the moment. One, we've never had the repaired radiator tested under load yet. Well, not tested in a real life situation if you like. The air tank that I repaired over there, that's been tested. It's been tested to much more than it needs to hold here, but it's not been tested back in the system. Oh yes, and of course the clutch. So I pulled the clutch apart, the clutch mechanism, and rebuilt that. And that's never been tested. But I'm not sure if it's even been bled through, so there might not be any clutch yet. Right, let's see what's happening in the cab. Well, so far, very little. This is the air gauge and nothing happening there. Let's try revving it. But we're not building up any air. The clutch pedal moves, but I don't think anything's happening there. No, I don't think there's any fluid in that. I'll have a quick look underneath. Last time I thought the air system had broken, I just left the taps open on the tanks. You see there's a pipe hanging down just there. That was the temporary takeoff that we made so we could pump the tyres up when we had a period we couldn't use the engine because that air system was all disconnected. first mystery solved then, and we should get some air in the brake system now. It's the same system that assists the clutch operation. Like I said, I don't think there's any hydraulic fluid in the clutch. So we'll check that next. Fans weren't coming on even if I adjusted the thermostat there, which is odd. Yeah, I wonder where that's coming from. There's a drip there, which isn't very good. But that might just be from the overflow pipe running down. That might just be wishful thinking. A couple of issues then, but the most pressing one I think is to get these big cooling fans running. Ah, this might have something to do with it. That's why the fans aren't working then. This is the temperature probe for those cooling fans. It's supposed to be in there. Yeah, I'll sort that out. Obviously forgot to put that back in. There's definitely an argument for putting that temperature probe on the engine side of the thermostat, but for now that's where it's going. Okay. I turn the thermostat. Now I seem to remember initially I had to bleed the clutch system in reverse. I had to get a big syringe and force some fluid up. I'm going to try putting some in the top and bringing it down. It's not bone dry. So what I've done is top up the reservoir there, and I'm going to loosen this off. This is the clutch cylinder here, and at the back of it there, that's the bleed nipple. Now, previously the master cylinder was at a wacky angle, and I think that's why I had to squirt it up with the syringe. That's the system I used last time. I had to force it through to push the bubbles out. But this time around the reservoir is much higher up than the master cylinder, which is actually a bit higher up than the slave cylinder, so gravity should be on our side. If I put my foot on the pedal now, yeah, so I got a load of fluid came out and a couple of bubbles. Knocked it off, back up. Pumping it in, holding it under pressure hopefully. Okay, we'll start up again and see if anything's changed. Okay. Light on, light off. clutch. I'm going to check all the other air tanks to make sure the taps are locked off. Taps are all closed, and when I open the taps air comes out, so maybe it is building up air, just doing it quite slowly. Give it a few more minutes, see what happens. Air is coming up now, so that's good. Tanks, and this is air applied to the brakes. So I put my foot on the brake. Right, it turns off on the key, which is the first time with this engine, so that's good. I can hear air leaking somewhere, which is not good. And I can't seem to bleed out the clutch, which is not good either. Yeah, bit of a mixed bag so far. Well, it looks like this massively corroded bit here. Just didn't want to hold my weight anymore. Something else not working. Right, try and remember not to stuff it out. Don't stuff on the stove. Do a temporary repair on the step then before I injure myself further. What I'm going to do to try and bleed through the clutch is use this as a vacuum bleeder kit. So you pump air through there and it uses the venturi here to generate suction in this line, which you put over the bleed nipple, and sucks fluid through this tube into this reservoir. Seems a bit overkill for this because it's only a tiny bit of system, but yeah, it doesn't seem to be bleeding as it should. This is worth a try. The air is on. There's the gubbins, and there's the thing I'm trying to bleed. So I want to see some fluid come up this line. So yeah, looking at this line, I don't see any bubbles in it at all. Right, let's shut that spout off. So check the fluid level. So I topped up the reservoir. I'm going to try again and pull a bit more through. Right, I don't see any air coming through. So will that improve? No. It's not developing any pressure whatsoever in this system. There's no air left in it, I'm confident of that. So this is the clutch pedal, goes up to the clutch pedal, and you see that I can move it by hand. So shouldn't be able to do that. So when I'm moving that, the piston's going up and down in there, but it's not forcing any fluid along there to the clutch. Now I'll tell you what I reckon it is a lack of travel on the up. So when I installed this, I made sure there was plenty of travel, so when you put your foot on the pedal it will bottom out that piston in there, but I don't think it's coming all the way up. If this piston can't come all the way up, it's not recuperating itself for the next stroke. I bet that's what's wrong. So how to fix it, I don't know. I should be able to fix that by shortening this rod. Yeah. And then hoping that there's enough travel left in the system. What I've done is just slackened the mounting bolts just a tad. So there's definitely slack in there now. I had a pin going through there, didn't I? Look at that. So by slackening the mounting bolts that are holding the master cylinder there, I've given it a little bit of free play at the top of the stroke, which might be enough to recharge it. Might have sorted everything out. Or I might be completely wrong. Oh yeah. That noise, you can hear that poop, poop noise, that's the air assist on the clutch. But there's now some actual feel on it. So I think it was the free play at the top of the pedal that I was missing before. So now I can feel, go down that far, nothing, and then something happens, and then that's the air releasing again. So I've let it through a couple more times just to be sure. I think it's working. To properly test if it's working, I've put the transfer box in neutral. So now I can select gears and I'm not actually going to move. So yeah, look, see the intermediate drop shaft is spinning. Put the foot on the clutch and it stops. First gear, off the clutch, on the clutch, off the clutch, on the clutch. Cool. I must say I'm loving the fact I can just turn it off from the ignition switch like a normal person. That's great then. That seems to have fixed the clutch. So what I've got to do is change the mount very slightly so that when the pedal comes up, there's a tiny bit of play in that master cylinder piston before it goes down again. And that turned out to be all it was. Right, I can try and move it now. This is distressing. After 20 years or so of starting this thing with a screwdriver, because I never had a key for it, it won't turn. So here's the usual screwdriver. Yeah, I can go to position 1 and get the ignition light to come on, but it won't turn in order to start it up. Great. Then nothing. Just won't turn. Simplest key I could find is the one from my generator. So this is one of those bog standard Lucas keys. Make some kind of joke here about Russian immobilizers. It's not, it's just chunkiness. Alright. So we've got the ignition is now on. If I bridge one of these, it should start. It is in neutral, so I'm not going to run myself over. Yeah, that'll start. Who'd have thought just moving a truck 300 yards would be such an emotional roller coaster? Cripes. I didn't think I'd just be able to jump in it and drive it, but I didn't think it'd be quite that much hassle. Still, it's working. Ish. It's still far from perfect. Oh, it's such a long way to go on this project. You may notice there's still a wooden roof, which is not what it's going to have when it hits the road. Still got that to sort out. Still got the grill to sort out. Got to sort that clutch out properly. Find that air leak. But yeah, at least it's out of the way from where it was. And now it's here, I can sort out the backlights because it hasn't got any. I can also do the thing that I've been meaning to do for months and months and months, and that's bolt the body onto the truck, because that's important. All this time it's only been held on by, well, originally 2 ratchet straps and currently 1. That's probably the first task, actually. Anyway, that's enough for today. I guess I'm going to have a cup of tea, but no, I'll probably have a beer. See you later.